Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since we looked at the RST. Slowly but steadily getting there, but we're taking a step back today. As you can see, she's in pieces. So you may have noticed me talking in the other videos and just kind of loosely referring to getting the clutch bled and fixed. So I've done that. Here it is, got a nice amount of pressure. I don't know if you can see down here because it's all put back together, but in here, if I do that, can we see it? There we go. So what I did is did the reverse bleed. So there's the bleed nipple down there. Opened everything up, forced clutch fluid through the system up here to, come on, focus, there we go, to here, and at first there were bubbles and so forth. Eventually the fluid just came through and kept coming through to the point where I could just, as I forced more fluid in down here, fluid slowly increased here, that you could see the fluid kind of forcing its way through the holes here, no bubbles, and I did that for quite a while. So I'm pretty confident, and there is pressure here, that I have fully bled the clutch. Now, for all of you geniuses down there, if I get in here, maybe you can see the slave cylinder. Oh no, that's going to be arse backwards. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but anyway, it's in here. It's an aftermarket one. Now my friend Leigh at Leigh Boys Builds, and I'll link to his channel, we took this apart and found that the piston was moving, no problem, in and out, a small amount, but it was moving with that. So it's now bled. So we're confident that this side is probably okay, as long as that slave cylinder, which is aftermarket, it's not original Aprilia, is the correct one. Which means it's on this side, which is where the problem lies. So we're going to have a play. I'm going to take this off. I do have some new springs. It has sat for a while before we got it going. So maybe there's something going on in here. So let's take this cover off. Let's have a look at the clutch and see what we can find. All right. Wish me luck. Okay, I have my oil pan here, which if you saw my video, unfortunately I've got to change the oil again, which sucks because literally I've only run the bike a few times and it's not gone anywhere. So maybe I can reuse it, I don't know, we'll see. But as you saw, I have a habit of dropping shit in oil drums, and after explaining to you on my previous video that I had a habit of doing that, I then consequently did exactly the same with the oil drain bolt. So I'm going to keep this on. I have drained the oil already and actually managed to not drop the bolt in. I promise. I promise. But for the sake of taking the clutch cover off, let's keep that thing attached until we get this thing off and I don't make any. Right, that is a spacer. I definitely need to keep that, because that is exactly the sort of thing that I drop into these kinds of jobbies. Woof! A bit more oil was coming out. Let's make sure that shit does not gasket seal. I'm not running into the oil. Oh. What is going on here? Well, that is rusty as fuck. So this is my potentially, let's be very gentle here. Why is this so rusty? This is my gasket, which is apparently reusable. I really want to reuse this due to the fact that they're not in stock anywhere and you have to wait a month to get another one. So gonna be super careful here getting this thing off, because I don't really want to have to wait a month. I'm just waiting for this little gasket to come in. And 12, we get not even close to 12, Simon. What do we get? 16? What's your guess, folks? No, oh Jesus, not even close to 16. Let's go 18. Nope, no, still not going. Let's go 20, or should it be odd? Is that 19? Yep, have it being odd numbered jobbies on this thing. Was I doing things up? Or how do I need to put it in gear? No, what is going on here? How do I undo this? Alright. Stupid question, folks. How do I undo this bolt? Alright, I think I'm going to need my phone back in order to do a quick internet investigation. Okay, so my quick investigation on the internet did not help, but the keen-eyed of you would be notice, as I finally did, there's an Allen bolt there, and a 19mm there. So if I rearrange the camera, do a bit of this and a bit of this. That's doing it up. Do a bit of this. I think it should come off. So let's have a look, shall we? Oh, it's moving. So let's take that off. And then we'll put this in here. Ow. And then now this should come off. This plate can come off, I hope. Oh, you know what? I am a genius. Well, actually, maybe not, but one of the reasons why I decided to start recording these things, making this channel, because I do enjoy, believe it or not, faffing around with bikes, gives me an opportunity to learn. Right, so we're going to guess at 10mm. 10mm? How do we think? 10mm on a spring? Oh, he's a legend. Legend. Okay, so let's start opening these things up and see where we are. And see, I don't see any potential problems here, which is a worry, because I need something to work out what the hell is going on. Let me get my A couple of here. Plate. And has to come out. So in theory, right, if that's all in as it should be, am I correct in assuming, folks, that this, and I don't want, they're all coming out. Bugger, I don't want you all to come out. Alright, well, let's have you all out then. Might as well. There we go. Here's the part that's attached to the cylinder on the other side, right? The clutch sleeve cylinder. So this thing, let that all out. Is the bit that should move when the clutch. Oh, and I didn't look at which. The green one was just to the right. That's it. The green one was just to the right. I remember that. Right, there's my green one, and Austria was at the top. So let's go back to put these in for a minute. So I don't know what I've done here. Let's have a shufty. Yes, it's those ones. Okay, you're in there. Now, the green one was that one. So I need to remember the order in which they came out in. That was the green one. So they need to go plate. Plates look fine. That's on there. And goes on like so, right? And then let's start putting these springs back on. That is my 10mm jobby. So a big thanks to Leigh there, who you just saw riding this up the driveway, and Leigh actually knows what he's doing, so I'll put links and stuff to his channel where you can actually see some proper work on bikes, but helping out. So we identified that this is working. We thought maybe they were swollen plates, but then we as I'll explain in a minute, discovered some further issues, which leads us to think that now that is good, the clutch is working and so forth. You know, we can see it moving the plates and the pressure plate and so forth, so we've got movement there. So we then rode the bike backwards and forwards, up and down the driveway a couple of times, and after a couple of times of doing that, it would stop. It would start dragging to the point that it wouldn't work anymore. To turn it off, 2 seconds later, 2 minutes later, it's fine again. So like on this driveway here, which you can't really see, but it's quite a steep angle, it would roll backwards with the in gear with the clutch in until we went backwards and forwards a couple of times when we thought, okay, maybe it's dragging, building up heat, something's screwing on. That did not happen, and then it would stall. It would start going, even with the clutch all the way in, it would start going up the hill to the point where, you know, putting a brake on, it would stall it. But then you turn it off, wait literally 30 seconds, and then it's back to normal again, going up and down the hill a couple of times before it gets things. So now that led us to look a little bit more detail of this old master cylinder here. Now the manual says to put .5 in it. I put 5.1. The top of this says .4. And then Leigh actually spotted a few interesting things. As we know, this has a new front end. This has I don't know, forks and brakes from what we thought was a Millie, but maybe a Torno. But then also looking here, we noticed that the handlebars don't quite fit with the top yoke, although they're bolted in. And then our keen-eyed Leigh spotted that this is here and this is here, and there is no way that, of course, in this bike, which has mirrors, there'd be this kind of thing for screwing mirrors on the bike. That's not the case. So, keen-eyed of you out there, do we think that this is from a Torno? In which case, one, it might need .4 fluid and not .5 fluid. Also, there may be, I might need to rebuild this, it might be a small little leak that's causing, which is our thinking at this point, that it's to do with this. And this is the problem with the clutch. So, one, I'm going to use .4 in it, see how we get on, see if that fixes the problem. If not, then I need a little rebuild kit, and I need to find out what the fuck this is, because it's not, I don't think, a standard Futura master cylinder. So if any of you out there have any ideas as to what the hell this is, please let me know. All right, thanks for watching. Right, back on with the progress, well, hopefully. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up again. So what I've done now is I've changed this to .4 brake fluid. I've rebled it down here. I've rechanged the oil, so I do need to warm it up and put the last ½ litre in and get it on a flat to measure what's in here. Well, there's quite a lot in here already, but it's not on the flat, so we will see. And then as I said earlier, we've played with the clutch. So let's give it a start, warm it up, and see if we have the same problem as we had earlier. Cross fingers. Right, now I have, as I just mentioned, done all that stuff. So what we're going to do is roll backwards and forwards, up and down the driveway a couple of times, and we're going to see if we get the same problem that we had before, now that I have a clutch full of .4 clutch fluid. So let's cross fingers and see what happens. Let's fire her up. We also need to warm her up in order to get a gauge on the oil, although I do need to get her on the flat. Alright, hopefully you can hear this. So, obviously, I'm on a hill, rolling backwards, no problem. Put it in gear, no problem. Rolling backwards. No problem. it. We actually done. It's smoky, but we'll keep her going. We might have done it, folks. Unbelievable. All right, let's turn her off and get the fairing back on and see what happens next. Maybe it was the .4, .5 thing after all, with the different master system.